Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to more esports action. And we're doing it here at the Asby Arena Circuit in Abu Dhabi. But tonight is not your usual race. We've got a proper team showdown with four teams fighting for victory. Those four teams, five drivers each, with VNT, IRT, ABS, and vMV, all going head to head in a 5v5v5 format. As I just saw Jazz comment there, so thank you for ruining my intro, for making me laugh. But 20 drivers, one track, and a whole lot of bragging rights on the line ahead of us tonight. Then it's a full grid here tonight, and I cannot wait to see what happens. And this format is all about teamwork and consistency. It's not just who's about the fastest, it's about playing a long game, watching your mirrors, helping your teammates, and keeping it clean when the chaos kicks off. And around here it will. We raced at Asby Arena, one of the most iconic tracks in the game. It's a 5.28 kilometer challenge from the sweeping first sector to the long straight with DRS in towards turn 6 and turn 9. And the tricky technical final sector where grip and focus really matters as well. Under the lights, this place looks incredible. So let's see then, the drivers are put to the test. And let's see what happens here. Will VNT dominate? Can IRT make a statement? Are ABS and vMV ready to surprise us? We're about to find out any time then as this 80-minute qualifying session kicks off. Here we go, then we've got a few cars out on the circuit, and let me read you the lineups here tonight as well. So, for Ventari Esports, the drivers are Nico, Evinai, M. Sapala, Lars van der Linden, and Ivan, the Spaniard, in the VNT team. And for Team International Racing, we've got Maskin, we've got Speezy, we've got Kip and NLR, well not NLR, but IRT Neo and IRT and Nick in that camp. Reserves are Hamza. I think Hamza is racing tonight. I thought I saw his name early on in this lobby. Let's see if he is. Yeah, he is. He's currently out of the circuit then. So it's going to be a lot to think about because there's 4 or 5 teams and it's going to be a lot to try and catch up with as well. Plus, it's multiplayer cars, so I've got a lot of things to pay attention with to see who's where on the circuit. And let's see who's the first one on the circuit because that's what I usually like to do. So, Nico, who raced in PSGL F Lobby 1, I think he finished in the top 4 at the time, or finished in P5. But here he is then, representing Ventari for VNT. And let's see what he could do then in the nice livery car of a nice brown and black there, represented his team. In ABS Esports, we've got Von Bond, we've got Justin, we've got Linian, and we've got Botond. And for last but not least, we've got vMV Indian, Jerome, Zen Elite, Ilias and Tathan, and I don't think I pronounced those names right, but apologies if I didn't or not. But Nico is about to make his way towards the final 2 corners as he sets off after a lap around Dhabi, the 5.2 kilometer circuit, as we round off the final corner, then open up a lap around here as we head down towards turn number 1 then, as he uses a lot of curb, but the entry towards 1 leads on the outside there. As we head through the fast corners of 2 and 3 we go, keeping it nice and pinned, foot to the floor as he knocks off a follow there on the entry towards 3 into 4. Flat tire left-hander, of course, no problems there. In towards turn 5. It seems like the bollards are gone. The 100-meter board is gone. Or is it on the left-hand side? I'm not quite sure because I remember in Brazil when I did a race around there, the 100-meter board was on the left-hand side. So it could be off guard. But now we're heading on to the first of the 2 back straights, reaching speeds about 326 kilometers an hour. That's about 203 or 4 miles an hour as we heavy the brakes in towards 6 and 7. The chicane we go as we exit then turn number 8 with the DRS wide open once again on towards this back straight. And the beauty of this circuit is, in esports especially, if you can't get the overtake done in the first part, you've always got the second part to do so as we head in towards turn number 9 we go. We don't really see many mistakes there in F1 League races. Some people used to get caught out by spinning on the exit of the corner, but I think that's all sorted now as we head down towards this technical part of the racetrack in the 3rd sector, where the tyres will be at its peak as well, with the tyre temperature soaring through the rain. Ventari, like AlphaTauri. Thank you very much, mate. As Nico heads towards the final corner, we go clipping the apex as he heads towards the finish line. It's a 22.266, and I think that is a decent lap time, you know, especially as a banker lap, as we've got a few cars behind us, as we see Volker going down into towards turn number 1. Hamza is up into P2 with a 22.8, but obviously not the lap time he's looking for. He's 6 tenths further back. Lars van der Linden goes up into P2 with a 22.413 then, as he settles behind his teammates of Nick in the IRT camp, and VNT 123 as Sapala goes up into P3 then. So it's a VNT 123 with the two IRT boys in P4 and P5s. Evan I makes it a 1, 2, 3, 4. So VNT, Ventari are absolutely cooking then, as Kip has left the session unfortunately, so hopefully we can get him back, but it's so close towards the top of the timing sheets there. So where's the other VNT driver at? So where is he currently down in? Not quite sure if he has VNT in front of his name. It'd make it easier if everybody had their three abbreviations at the start of the name, but it's quite hard for me because obviously I got brought in late as a commentator. I'm not quite familiar with this 5v5v5. There's a lot of information, as Lillian then for ABS goes quickest with a 1:21.866, as Ivan is currently down to P16 on an out lap, as we've got a few people of Spezzy goes up into P6. I think he's representing IRT if I'm not mistaken. Yes he is, because you can see the blue and white livery car there representing IRT, as Nick is his teammate just behind him. As we got who else on the flying lap? Then we've got Hugo. Where is he? Currently down. My thing's not working. There we go. Hugo then around in turn number 9 representing ABS. So ABS then have spoilt the VNT party, as he's the only ones so far in the 21s. That's a mega lap time there from Lillian, and let's see what his teammates could do, as we've got the first one up, which is Hugo. Hugo now making his way towards turn number 16 and 17, I believe it is, as we make our way towards the final 3 quarters of this racetrack. He goes, not the best lap time for him, so somewhere on that lap he made a mistake, and he is inside the top 10. So, quite a few people haven't set a lap time just yet. Ivan is yet to set a lap time, and let's see what he could do as he ventures round turn number 9 we go. In towards 9, this fast left-hander, where we've seen plenty of overtakes before there as well. In the past, we saw Lewis Hamilton overtake George Russell as well around the outside in towards turn number 9, as we make our way towards this double left-hander of 13 and 14. Of course, don't need to mention what happened there in turn 14 in 2021, because it might trigger a few people as we head towards the final corner. It doesn't trigger me because I find it funny, but here comes the fan then towards the finish line. He goes up into P2, and he's best of the rest of his own team then, the only driver without a VNT out of the 5 guys there. So 5 guys, 2nd and 6th. So ABS Lillian has got a whole bunch of VNT people right behind him as well. We still got a few people yet to set a lap time as well. ABS Jets adjusted down there. We've got Leo representing IRT, who hasn't set, or Neo shall I say, who hasn't set a lap time just yet as well, as 7 minutes on this qualifying session has gone. Let's see who else is out there on the fly. Majority of drivers then head back in the pits after their first round of runs, and the strategy is going to be quite interesting because it's a multiplayer event, isn't it? So how are you going to figure out who's your teammate as well? I'm not quite sure how it works, because the last social races I did, I think quite a few people got confused on like who's teammates with who, if that makes sense. I'm not quite sure how to put it into perspective there, but it's gonna be very interesting to see how it all pans out. I'm not very used to this format. I don't think social races like 5v5v5 TV sports events are my type of thing, but yeah, I'll try my absolute best. I give it a challenge. I love challenges, of course. And 8 minutes of this qualifying session has gone then, as the only drivers out there is Ivan and Tathan, but Tathan is back in the pit lane, and Ivan will follow swiftly through. So, first place is Lillian, representing ABS, ahead of the 5 VNT drivers from P2 down to P6, and these IRT boys from P7 down to P9, as I think Lars van der Linden is making his way out on the circuit. And of course, Lars van der Linden, a driver who has created these opportunities in terms of social races. He's quite a big figure in the esports side of things as well. Very popular as well. Popular driver, fantastic character. And unfortunately, I will get to meet him in the October thing, if you know what I'm talking about, Jav. As we see then Lars van der Linden. Let's see what he could do. A very quick driver as well. We've seen him plenty of times on his TikToks, in PSGL as well, and other league races he attends to. I'm not quite sure. Is he the NLR owner or something like that? I think he's in charge of the NLR camp. I'm not quite sure how much power he has got in Ventari, as it is now called. I think NLR is Ventari, if I'm not mistaken, because I know CPI is CSI, if that makes sense. Shizou and CPI merging together. It's quite interesting to see 2 different esports teams merging together. I've never heard that before, but we'll see how it goes then, as a whole bunch of drivers get put into one team. And it's a big competition as well. So we've got quite a few mergers on the scene as Lars van der Linden is making his way down towards turn 1 we go, as he takes a lot of curb on the outside, flicks it through towards turn 1, leads on the curb, just invalidates on the exit of lap 1, sorry, turn number 1, as half the qualifier session has flown by, as we've got a few people then on the circuit elsewhere going for another flying lap. IRT Nick is one of them. He's currently 3/10 up in this sector, but there's a car in the way. That's a VNT driver who gets slightly in the way. It should be compromised too much, but Nick might be a bit distracted. As here comes the Dutchman, goes off the circuit. He goes up into P3 with a 22.2. Some say that'll be illegal, but that was definitely illegal, but the game registered it then, so I think quite a few people might be telling their drivers do the exact same thing, because it might gain you a bit of time on the outside there. Did he lift off when he was outside the track? That could have been a reason why the game didn't validate him, but Nico is already 10th down the first sector, so on the back foot already. Is there anyone outside of VNT watching right now? I'm not quite sure actually. Maybe a few of the people that support me in general might be watching, but I'm not quite sure who is actually watching outside of VNT there. But Nico, interestingly, despite being down in the first sector, is still going for a flying lap. And I was wondering, if he's done the first sector, why is he not backed off, save the battery, save the tyres, and go for a second push stop? No tyre wear can be quite crucial as well, and quite significant, especially on a track like this. As we see, he's up by a few hundredths of a second in this middle sector there. So Nico's got some great pace still to recover some of that time in the middle sector. But let's see then, will the tyres take a beating towards the last sector? We know the tyres can overheat quite a lot as well. Lock up there on the entry towards, I think, turn number 11 or 12 as we make our way towards this double left-hander. We go into fourth gear, carry the speed through as now make our way towards the final few corners of this racetrack. Nico runs out of battery as we make our way towards the finish line. In fact, Nico couldn't go for a second flying lap because he ran out of fuel, but he goes up to P2 nonetheless. So great lap time there for Nico as Varga goes up into P6 there. I think somebody else moved up. Who was it who just moved up? I saw somebody behind us who just moved up the order as Lilia goes quickest with a 21.788. Currently the only driver to be in the 21s there, so he's sitting pretty at the top of the field. But we'll see then how it all transforms. Could anybody else get themselves inside the 121s is the main question. Lars van der Linden currently on a flying lap. He's currently about 2.5 tenths up in this little sector, as we've got the majority of drivers out there on the circuit so far. So quite a few drivers then on the circuit as Lars goes a bit deep in towards turn number 12, I think it is, coming towards this left-hander right now. It's so easy to validate on the exit there, especially in the race. I think Spicer goes up into P3, or Spetsy goes up into P3 in the IRT team, as here comes Lars van der Linden towards Van. He goes up into P4 just ahead of Van, who's currently on a flying lap representing VRT as well. So nobody seems to be matching the pace of Lillian. Is it vMV or is it ABS, not the French team? I think it's vMV. That's the French team. I don't want to jinx it. No, I don't think it is. One of them is the French team for sure. But yeah, I should have done my research beforehand. Evan I, unfortunately, is the second down as he's just invalidated there. As Neo is not on a flying lap. Don't let it fool you. He's not in NLR. He's currently represented IRT on this occasion. As M. Zapala then coming towards 13 and 14. But I don't think he's on a flying lap. No, he's not really. No, he's backed off, but Kip goes up into P4 for IRT then on the PC side. So IRT is up into P3 and P4, getting their name up there as well for the PC side. I know that IRT are progressive forwards as well. I know they used to be mainly PS, but now they've merged over to the PC side. And let's see how it progresses for them. Lars van der Linden has done 2 laps on his set of the soft compound tyres. Ivan is coming towards the final few corners, a bit twitchy there, but Ivan goes up into P2 with a 21.983 and is the second driver to be in the 21s then, as he's just invalidated, but he won't care whatsoever. Great stuff indeed then. Jerome currently there on a flying lap. It's not quite sure what he did in the first set, but he's currently down in P13. And let's see how he takes turn 16. And I don't think he's on a flying lap, is he? Nope. It says he's harvested, so he's not on a flying lap. So vMV Indian, unfortunately behind him, has invalidated. Oh, look at that airborne as well. Clips the curb as he went airborne for a few seconds, like Nico Hulkenberg did back, obviously not severe, but Hulkenberg back in 2018 went airborne, didn't he, when he got tagged by Roman Grosjean, I think it was, and he ended his race hanging like a cow, as the quote was as well. Quite a severe crash. That's the only thing I really remember in that race, really. I think it was Hamilton who won. I think Ricciardo finished about 5th or 6th. Was it Raikkonen who broke down? I think it was. Raikkonen who broke down for his final race for Ferrari. That was a tragedy indeed. As Jerome is in the pit lane to be forced to a lap time because he said there's a few hundreds up, but unfortunately he doesn't feel like that lap time is suitable enough. What's Ivan doing in P2? He's headed back in the pit lane. So all 20 drivers then are in the pit lane except one, because one is underneath the tunnel. By the way, this track is the only track that has a tunnel underneath it on the pit lane exits. That's quite interesting there. No other track has it. But do you know what I'm quite surprised by as well? I'm quite surprised that there's no one who has crashed. Lillian, my baguette brother, says fake. But I'm quite surprised that nobody has crashed under the tunnel section since it debuted in 2009. That's quite surprising as well. Surely somebody must have broke down in the practice sessions, crashed there as well. But actually nobody has had an error there. So I wonder, would there ever be an error at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix under the tunnel? Because Abu Dhabi will be around for such a long time as well. It's always the last race of the season since what? I can't think now. 2014 to 2025 was it? Because 2013, did it finish in Brazil when Mark Webber took off his helmet? I think it did. So I think 2013 or 2014 onwards, Abu Dhabi became the last race of the season, and it has shown some spectacular title battles in 2014, but of course Nico Rosberg had a problem with his car, had an Erz electrical problem, and unfortunately for him, lost the championship. I dare say Hamilton would have won it anyway because he was more in front of Rosberg, even though double points. Do you remember that, guys? In 2014, double points was on offer as well in that season, and I think Williams scored the most points because they both finished in second and third. Rosberg broke down, Hamilton went on to win the race as Hugo there goes out wide, but he backs off. He knows that would have been an invalidation there, so he has backed off just in case, but he's got enough time and definitely got the tyres to do so because he's barely taken any life out of those soft compound tyres. They're precious, the softest compound of tyres, and you want to treat them like a baby. But who else is about to go for a flying lap, I wonder, just behind us there? You can see a car in the third sector, but of course it's multiplayer. It's a bit difficult for me to acknowledge who's who. So that's just bear with me for a few seconds before I get my bearings. So I think Lars van der Linden is headed through turn number 1. Yes, he is then, as he runs out wide there at the exit of turn number 1, headed through 2 and 3. But what I want to mention as well, 2014, both caterers returned back after missing a race, I think in USA and Brazil, because obviously Caterham and Russia didn't have the fundings either. Then they returned back as Lars van der Linden, the exit of turn number 5. Not really a common place, but we've seen the likes of Verstappen get all tail happy there as well, the exit of turn 5. So using too much of the track, and unfortunately as a result has invalidated them. Evan I is down. In fact, Evan I is going for a flying lap as well as he continues through turn 2 and at turn 3, taking a flat out in 6th gear, headed downhill towards turn 4, now turn 5, with Joris and Sergio, the most successful team I was ever part of. Eyes purple crying. As we head towards turn 5 now at the exit of the corner, heading down towards the first of the 2 DRS zones. Of course, we don't have a DRS zone, do we, on the main straight? I'm not quite sure. Well, it's too short to be a DRS zone really, but Monaco is as well, as we head down towards turn 6 and turn 7. So for people who, I think everybody here runs no assist, they've got to really, there's the high caliber esports teams, but for everybody here who does struggle to find their reference points, some people may be a bit annoyed because obviously the reference points is what they use, try by the braking zones, but I think a lot of these guys are clever enough on their natural ability and instincts to find those braking points. People like me have no idea where that braking point is as we head down towards the final sector now, as he takes a lot of curb on the inside there. The back of the car wanted to complain. Oh, that should have been a validation there for Evan. Evan I saw it, but gets away with the Norwegian, who was fighting with Oscar yesterday in PSGL. Here he is towards the final corner. Let's see what he can do. The Norwegian crossed the line. He goes up into P7 only. There's his teammate right behind him. His teammate of Sapala goes up into P3. Nice lap time indeed then, as the rest are about to follow suit, as qualifying has ended then. So let's see who can sustain the pressure on. Nick crossed the line. Nick did invalidate on his last flying lap. As we see then more drivers make their way towards the line, on board with the IRT man from the PC side as his teammate Kip goes or stays into P6. Here comes Bezzy towards the final corner. He goes. Let's see, can he take pole? Oh, P3 with a 21.9. And let's see, where is Lillian? Lillian is headed towards the final corner. Here he is towards the line. He goes or extends his margin to pole. with a 21.754, then extends it only the slightest of margins there, which was just enough. But anybody out there to dethrone him? Lars van der Linden headed towards the final sector. Ivan, where is he going to go? Ivan, who goes quicker? Oh, it's the exact same lap time. Ivan and Lillian have set. Oh, Lars hits the back of somebody or in the side of somebody. Is that his teammate? No, it's not his teammate. Obviously different colours. But Ivan and Lillian have set the exact same lap time. And the reason why I said Ivan was on pole is because it's anyway quickest. But really, this unbelievable. Can you believe it? As Hamza is the last one to cross the line and spins his way around towards the line. So, can you imagine that? Two different teams set the exact same lap time of a 121.754. But Lillian set it first, so he has the bragging rights over that. As Ivan goes up into P2. It confused me so much because I saw Ivan went quickest, but Lillian was still first. So I was thinking to myself, was it a glitch? But no. Lillian was the first driver to set it first and claims it. I think we saw last year in the Canadian Grand Prix where George Russell and Max Verstappen took pole, set at 12.00 exactly as well. It's so satisfying when they get it to like 0.000 of a second as well. Look at that, Centauri on the halo there. And I didn't even know you could put your own name there on the halos, but that should be very interesting. I think Lillian has been absolutely strong throughout the whole qualifying session. And what a fantastic lap time for both of them as well. Respect to both of them on the front row for setting the exact same lap time. Nico for VNT P3 ahead of Spezzi in P4. Sapala, the reason why I say that because I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it properly, so I do apologise. Sapala P5, Kip in P6 ahead of Lars van der Linden. Evanai P8 ahead of Varga Nick, rounds off the top 10. And there is the rest of them from P11 all the way down to P20. Apologies for these guys as well at the bottom. Not really mentioning them, but yes, vMV seems like they're struggling around the circuits. But what can they do in the Grand Prix? Well, with 4 teams in the grid tonight, VNT, IRT, ABS and vMV, this isn't just about raw speed. It's all about coordination, strategy and knowing when to fight and knowing when to support your teammates as well. We will see the GS trains from between drivers protect their track position. We will see some sacrificial pit stops as well to disrupt undercuts. Team play is going to definitely make or break this race as well. There's always an extra bit of spice as well when you throw multiple teams in the mix. VNT and IRT, wow, they're being so close as well. ABS at the top of the pecking order. Team strategy is going to be an absolute game changer here in Abu Dhabi as well. Don't forget to mention the safety car. Safety car could definitely make an appearance out on the circuit as well. But we're about to kick-start the race very shortly around here under the lights of Abu Dhabi. The first twilight race in F1 history, and the first winner as well was Sebastian Vettel back in 2009 when Jensen Button, I think, finished in P3. Of course, 2010, we had a 4-way title decider between Mark Webber, Fernando Alonso, Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton, and the winner of that was Sebastian Vettel, as Fernando Alonso pitted too early. DRS wasn't activated back then in 2010, so Alonso was stuck behind Petrov for the whole race. Alonso and Webber were both stuck behind Petrov after Petrov pulled a strategy blinder, and a lot of people remember it too. And after the Grand Prix, Alonso was absolutely devastated, as you would be, and he lifted the finger up to Petrov, didn't he, on that day? Obviously, it wasn't Petrov's fault, he's just running his own race, didn't he? He didn't want to give up positions, but obviously, Fernando Alonso, clearly frustrated, being stuck behind the Renault. He tried to get past, but went off the track multiple times as well, as I think both McLarens of Hamilton and Button finished in P2 and in P3 that day. After Vettel's spectacular championship win, is there a formation lap? No, there isn't. And we are underway for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix for the 5v5 event. Ivan gets a line of start. Off the line he goes up into P2 as we see them all fire through turn 1 we go. Ivan versus Bessie for P5. There's to go side by side in towards turn 2 and turn 3 we go. Let's see then which one of these guys get ahead of who. But Indian He's up to first place there. No, he's not. That's a mistake there, as it's a bit of a glitch. As we head down towards turn 5 and go in towards the first braking zone, we've got a few cars side by side. VNT versus the IRT boys. Look at the spectacular colours as well. Oh, contact in the background. And that is Neo, who finds himself in the wall there. Lars van der Linden settles in behind the van as he puts himself into P4. In fact, what is going on here? So many glitches as well, bugs, as we see then a Ventari driver go down the inside of somebody. That is Evanai versus Spezzi for P5 in towards 7 and 8 we go. But the Ventari boys then shaping up very nicely because right behind ABS as we head down in towards turn number 9 we go. Nico looking for a move down around the outside, but can't seem to quite get it as we see somebody in the background goes off the track, and somebody else just follows him too, as now Lars van der Linden might take 2 of them on, but there's his teammate just in front of him, so don't want to crash into his teammates. And I'm going to say Ventari versus IRT International Esports. Beautiful colours between those two. Look at that. You can see a livery of gold and black as well, followed by the blue and white behind, as we've got a outlier of Lillian there. I feel sorry for Lillian because he's in first place, whilst there's a bunch of IRT guys and VNT boys right behind too. So he's a bit of no man's land under massive pressure, and obviously the pit stops as well, and the undercuts, etc., and the DRS games. He will fall backwards into the clutches of VNT. So he's a lone man out there, as he's been overtaken with the lead already. As we head down towards turn 5, and that is Ivan up the inside of Lillian. So poor Lillian has lost out to 2 places there by the VNT boys, gets absolutely bullied and pushed out the way as the rest of the boys are about to follow suit. But looks like Evanai is under pressure from Lars van der Linden as we see a change on leadership once again. Here comes Lillian trying to go up the inside in towards 6 and 7 we go. A few lockups in towards the braking zone as we expect, in towards the heavy braking zones on the track. As we see now the 2 VNT boys of Sapala and Nico swap places, but here comes Lillian back on the charge once again. So despite being shuffled down into P3, he's not ready to give up, and right on the outside he goes in towards turn 9 they go, flashing lights as well as they harvested energy. But Lillian around the outside gets the move done, back into first place. Excellent move there, and despite being under massive pressure, did not let the pressure get to him whatsoever. So despite all that, let's see the tyre strategies. Lillian is on the hard compound tyres, surprisingly, so he's going to go for the longer stint there on the hards. And let's see how his strategy pays dividends towards in the Grand Prix, being on the medium compound tyres. Is it a 2-stop? Is it a 1-stop? There's still a lot of questions to be answered as well. Not quite sure if it is a 1 or 2-stop around here in Abu Dhabi, but we'll see as the race progresses then. So Lillian livery clear, says Isaac. It is a nice livery there, representing, I think, the French team. Is it ABS? I'm not quite sure actually, but yeah, nice livery from all of them. In fact, all of them have got some nice liveries on the car, except for this one. No, I'm only joking. But anyways, as we head down in towards turn 5, I wonder if VNT are going to pounce immediately or just follow each other in the DRS trade. Just try and play games with Lillian, go for the long stint, playing a long game just ahead of us. There's a long way to go in the Grand Prix, so I wonder if they're all settling down. The IRT boys, though, trying to get a move on. Here comes Hamza, side by side in towards the braking zone, in towards 6, and there's all contacts between Varga and Spezzi, but Varga just keeps his car in control, and luckily for him, stays on the track without any damage further ado as well. As now we head down in towards turn 9 with that big DRS train. Of course, the dirty air is much more efficient and effective on this game, unlike last game as well, where we see a big DRS train. Of course, we're always going to see, no matter what, a big DRS train, unless in 2026, when the DRS gets removed, when the ground effect cars are over. We've got a battle between Harry Nuns and Jerome, but it looks like Jerome wins that battle ahead of Harry, who started in last place after a difficult qualifying. It looks like vMV. Oh, Nick's got down the order. Nick has spun. He has. That's at the exit of turn 9. Doing a Nicholas Latifi type shit there. And unfortunately, he has gone for a spin. 2 IRT boys at the back. And Jerome is in the pit lane. Why? So I wonder if he's got any form of damage. Yes, he has. So he has got damage. And unfortunately for him, a trip to the pits is necessary for him. Here we go, down towards turn 5 once again. Lillian, ooh, Mr. Zapata there, getting close towards the back of his Spanish teammate, Arbafan. But luckily no contact was made as we now head on the back straight once again. And Lillian looking at his mirrors, but he sees the 2 cars behind, not pouncing immediately, so that's good news for Lillian actually. I thought Lillian would get absolutely swamped, but here comes somebody down the inside. Is that Varga down the inside of an IRT driver of Spezzi? I think Spezia, though, has lost a lot of positions. He's fallen down into 9th place. So, got jumped by the VNT boys, got jumped by some of his teammates as well. And he's having a hard time because here comes Varga now in towards the breaker zone of turn number 9. He goes. Let's see then. You can see that Spezia has enough grip around the outside to maintain P9 and stays ahead of Varga for the time being then. So Nick, Jerome, Neo pitted on the last lap as they all had a bit of damage as well. Nick spun out of turn number 14 and I wonder, was it contact with somebody or did he drop it by himself? It is quite common around there as well. The dirtier be more effective, the tyres as well. I wonder what tyre has he gone on. He's got on the medium compound tyres is Nick. In fact, 3-lap old medium compound tyres. Let me check something here. Oh, did he pit? I think he stayed out. Yeah, he did. Nick did stay out, so apologies about that one. I thought he pitted at the end of that lap. He has pitted right now. So Nick is in the pit lane then, as we've got 2 fallen IRT soldiers down there in P18 and P20. As he's retired from the race then, so no long-term gain for Nick. Not thinking about a safety car whatsoever, because safety cars can be quite high around here. And also the two-slot strategy. But here we go, on to the long back straight once again as we head down in towards the breaker zone we go. They're all bunched up right behind Lillian. I'm surprised, these guys are not really attacking Lillian because these guys are on the medium compound tyres and the rest of them on the hards. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Lillian's on the hard compound tyres, the rest on the medium, so they're not really attacking him early doors in the Grand Prix. I think they're all settling into the Grand Prix, making sure to keep the gap over IRT because they've got track. Theoretically, they've all got a track position against the other guys ahead. As Varga gets past Spezia, so Spezia in the race trim seems to be struggling around here in Abu Dhabi. Great qualifying pace, but unfortunately seems to be slipping backwards in the Grand Prix. But it's down to the driving, the setup, whatever, the track conditions, who knows. But unfortunately, it's not suiting him, and he's falling backwards into the clutches of the guys from ABS. Seems like in the top 10 is IRT versus VNT, with a few people from ABS up there as well, especially Varga and Lillian. I think Varga is from ABS. Let me have a check. Yeah, he is. You can see there. The problem is, though, that the longer this race goes on, the better the hardcore power tyres go on as well, because Lillian's hardcore power tyres will be better than the Vans and Co behind him. But at the same time, though, breaking out the DRS range is going to be so difficult as well. So these guys not going to go for the early attack just yet in this race. We've got a few people pulling out the slipstream, and here comes the van now as he puts pressure on Lillian as we head down towards turn 6. Of course, Lillian can't fire back as we head down towards the breaker zone. A bit of contact there between the two. Sapala and Lillian getting too close for good measure. But Lillian then will have the DRS back on the VNT driver, and let's see, will he go for the move again around the outside? Yes, he will. So we go side by side into towards turn 9 we go, and it gets the move stick. I thought that VNT's plan was to all attack Lillian and put him down to P6, but that's not the plan. The plan is so far just playing the long game, just following and keep the gap and keep a track position over the rest of the team like IRT. Good teamwork as well from all 4 of them, all 5 of them, should I say, with the van, Sapala, Nico, Evanai, and Lars van der Linden, the Dutchman at the back of the VNT train. But the top 2 then, started the top 2, did Lillian and Ivan. For those who weren't there in qualifying, they both set the exact same lap time. And Ivan goes off the track in towards turn 1, then gives a bit of breathing space towards Lillian, puts him in the clutches of his own teammates there, but of course, they're not going to strike and attack him. But moments like that can make or break your race as well, can decide the outcome, especially with the warnings. It's easy, it is so easy to pick up warnings as well. I wonder how the tyre wear is handling around here as well, because the mini compound tyres at this stage won't be too pretty at this part of the race. But here comes the van then, but he won't go for the move just yet. You can see how much EOS he's got in store as well, as Varga is right behind Hamza as we head down towards the breaker zone in towards 6 and 7. But Varga just can't get past as well, being stuck in that DRS train. But here we go then. Is this the VNT attacking Lillian? It is, as VNT Ivan goes up into first place around the outside as well, but he goes deep in the corner. Will that allow Lillian to come back through? Ivan just stays ahead there with the racer line around the outside as well. Lillian had to make sure he didn't understeer in towards Ivan to make contact with him either. You're going to feel sorry for Lillian there, because no man's land, all alone in P2, just stuck in a big DRS train. He's got 5 cars around him in the same team as well. What do you do in this situation with all that pressure on your shoulders? But into the pit lane comes, who's that? It is Sapala. He's in the pit lane. So I wonder, is this a two-stop strategy? Let's find out right now. Is it another set of medium compound tyres for shorter stinting on the hards later on in the Grand Prix? The undercuts, it's all playing out so far. It is the, what tyres is this? Hard compound tyres. Now, is this hard to medium? Is this hard, medium, or is it medium, hard? Hard, I'm not quite sure actually, but we'll find out later on in the Grand Prix. So, on the hard compound tyres goes Sapala. Kaifa fan behind us is also on the hards as well, so he's one of the first drivers that pitted. This could cause a chain reaction now. Cause a few people to duck in the pit lane as well and put on the set or whatever tyres they want to go for. So here comes Lillian then back on a van, puts himself into first place. Surprisingly as well that Lillian's done more laps on the hard compound tyres in comparison towards no, it's not surprising really, because obviously the compound tyres would have faded away. Still quite sure what I was saying there, but Ivan there with the DRS wide open as we head down towards turn number 9 again. 21 laps is a bit of a stretch on the hard compounds, don't you think? I think 21 laps is doable. I think you can do 21 laps, but of course the tyres will be absolutely screaming towards the end, and I think a new set of tyres will gain you loads of seconds in the car ahead. So I think it is a two-stop strategy from medium, hard, medium. But here we go, down towards turn 12. Not really a place you see side-by-side action, but it looks like Justin forces his way up into P9. Great move there from Justin to go all the way around the outside in towards turn 12. Not a commonplace, but he did it anyway. And now puts himself inside the top 10. Interestingly, nobody has reacted to that pit stop from Sapala down in P16. So they're going to go for more laps around here in Abu Dhabi. Did Sapala pit a bit too early. The undercut is very powerful around here. Experienced it from last year's game, and games before as well, as Tathan is in the pit lane to get rid of his medium compound tyres. Let's see what tyres he decides to go for as well, as he makes his way slowly but surely in the box. I remember on the old game, it is medium there for vMV driver, as Spetsy has been overtaken by Hugo. Unfortunately for Spetsy, he is losing loads of buckets of time there, as Ivan has overtaken Lillian as we head down towards turn 6. In the background is Varga, who's progressing really nicely, you know. He's up into P6 there, and he's overtaken Kip. It goes up into P6 there. Maybe he could be up there to help his teammate as well, because he's surrounded by the VNT drivers all around him. But Lillian there, classic switchback, and he puts himself into first place once again in the Grand Prix. These two exchanging positions left, right, and centre. These two controlling the Grand Prix, and that's the benefits of having clean air as well and DRS, as the guys behind aren't able to get through. Look at the battery as well. Lillian, despite being in first place, as you can see, Ivan slightly messing up there in towards the last sector. You can see Lillian has got 100% battery store as well, as he actually streaks away a bit as well. Maybe his tyres are much better in comparison towards the guys behind. So nobody just yet pitting, as they all continue around once again, thinking about one stop or two stop, I'm not quite sure. But at this stage of the Grand Prix, a few laps extra, might as well go for the one stop, because a two stop might be a bit too slow. But I wonder now, it's been a stalemate race so far, except from the top two changing places, as Sapala now sets the fast lap of the Grand Prix. As you expect, he'll get a massive undercut, of course, when these guys will pit, and he gets past one of the VNV drivers. Oh, yes, he gets past him. Oh, he spins, he's on the wall! And who spun there back in, what was it, 2020, when was it? Was it Carlos Sainz who spun back there all those years ago in qualifying? Hasn't lost his wheel, and he continues going once again. As we head down towards turn 6 we go. Or was it Charles Leclerc who spun there in 2020? Or Charles Leclerc almost spun there. He saved the car. But as we continue then out of the corner, DRS enabled for these guys. Let's see then if Ivan and Nico will try and push through and get themselves into first place. Nope, they stay behind once again then. Lillian running for his life from the whole PS team. Yeah, he is actually. 4 PS drivers right behind him. And he's got Varga, his teammate, down there in P6. We've got Kip as well, who's representing IRT for the PC side. Then Jensen, then Hamza for PC as well in IRT. Then Hugo in ABS, then Spetsy. So Nick and Neo, the PS side of IRT, unfortunately let the team down. And they're both out of the Grand Prix after early blunder in the Grand Prix. One of them spinning and other one having his misfortunes, as Hamza is in the pit lane then to get rid of his mini compound tyres. So I'm quite surprised that the pit lane, these people haven't pitted just yet further down the DRS train, because when you're stuck in the DRS train further down, knowing that you can't go forwards, these guys will think about doing the undercuts, try and get themselves up the order as well, try and get a track position, as Hamza has got on the hardcore power tyres. So that surely is. I'm not quite sure, you know. I'm on the fence of a one-stop or two-stop. It all depends on how good people's time management are. But look at this. You can see that Lillian is almost broken out of DRS range of Ivan and Nico and Lars and Evernight as well. So Ivan seems to be struggling there to keep in the DRS range as Lars gets past. And here comes, look at this, down the inside, he steams through. That is Varga. Nice move up the inside there, but Evernight had the outside to the inside line and takes back the position. He puts himself into P5. You can see Varga deploying his EOS there, putting the VNT driver under massive pressure as we head down in towards turn line. Which way are you going to go? No way, because he's blocked past him and he stays ahead for P5 for the time being then. Nice aggressive move there for Varga, because I thought he hit Nico and Evernight but kept it well in control on the brakes as well. But as you can see, these guys on the mini compound tyres now started to struggle. But will Sapala be able to save his tyres, or is he on a two-stop? That's the question though, because he pitted quite early, didn't he, in the Grand Prix? So that indicates it could be a two-stop. His tyres, of course, will be dead towards in the Grand Prix, not elongated the first in. These guys surely are on a one-stop now. The guys in who haven't pitted just yet, as Hamza does overtake Kaifafan for P13, up into 30 place he goes. Where is Sapala? He's up into P12 for the time being. The gap to leader for him, look at that, gap to leader, 11.8 seconds. That's how much time is gained. Huge time gain there from Sapala. So big undercut there coming Sapala's way. And Hamza gets a 3-second tyre penalty as well. But look at this, Ivan, 2 seconds away. The tyre deficit has definitely dropped off there. The tyres screaming, and unfortunately, we'll see then. It could play towards Lillian's hands then. He's going to go on the medical power tyres much later on the Grand Prix. So 11 laps then. They peaked towards the end of their stint. And I'm surely this is a big time for Ivan, Lars, Nico and Evernight to pit. Because if they don't pit, they lose even more time towards Lillian, knowing that he'll be in the medical power tyres towards in the Grand Prix. The track will rubber in as well. Track evolution, if you're going down to the best conditions for the medical power tyres, as Justin is up into P7 ahead of Kip. Kip is on the mediums, of course, so he will be struggling there to try and keep up with the rest of the guys. But surely then, this is the time to pit. I'm surprised these guys haven't split the strategy just yet in the Grand Prix, because there's still about 3 guys here, or 4 of them shall I say, from P2 to P5, haven't split the strategy. None of them pitting one lap early than the other. But here we go then, these two diving off the pit lane. That is Nico and that is Ivan. Lars and Ivan, sorry, but Ivan, oh no, gets a 10-second tyre penalty for speed in the pit lane. And that's not a glitch, that is a legitimate 10-second tyre penalty unfortunately for him, and that's going to have big consequences towards in the Grand Prix. And Spetsy's left the session, so IRT have gone then. One of the IRT drivers have gone, so Kip and Hamza are the only two, and Neo as well down to P18 are... Oh, at the exit the corner there, it looks like Ivan flirted with the wall on the outside as he rejoins down in P10. Do you know what I would do? As you can see, Hamza gets ahead of Ivan. As Evernight and Nico swap places for P2 and P3. I'd use Ivan as a pawn right now because he's got a 10-second tyre penalty, so there's no chance of him winning. So I might as well, as Neo has retired in the pit lane and left the session, so that's the second IRG driver gone. Well, third actually, because Spetsy left the session earlier on. But Varga is right behind Nico. Surely the hardcore power tyres for him are in much better shape and form. Or up the inside, and look at that, Evernight in the foreground struggling there for grip, as the car literally had no rotation at all and he struggled. But Lillian, this is a beautiful sight for him now, as he's able to streak away from the rest of the guys behind, stuck in the dirty air with the guys on older tyres in P2 and P3. I don't know who has the advantage though. Is it Lillian? Is it the guys who just pitted the hardcore power tyres? We know that Lillian's going to go on the mediums towards the end, a better tyre, but will they survive towards the end? That's the question, as somebody in the pit lane there almost lost the car, as we now head in towards the pit lane. Do you remember the glitch last game? Oh, somebody spun, I think. Who is that? There's a caution in the middle sector. Who is that? That is Harry, who has caused that caution, and unfortunately, it has to go to the pit lane and change his wing. I do believe he's got front wing damage as well. What is this camera angle? What's going on? But here we go then, in towards turn 5. So the guys who just pitted, Sapala's well ahead. Look at the gap. The gap is 10.8 seconds. Wow, that's the gap Sapala's built up by pitting 5 laps early. But with that deficit being brought back down, it may pay dividends now, but I wonder how long he can eat that gap for when these guys on the much better tyres will catch up towards the Grand Prix. Let's look at this then. ABS 1, 2, and who's this? Is this a VMS strat? Yeah, it is ABS, sorry. 1, 2, 3, and 4. As Justin has overtaken his teammate for P2. It caught me off guard a bit because there was a bit of a different livery between 4th and 3rd place. So I think Hugo is in ABS, but of course, different livery there for him. So I didn't really follow the protocols of the livery, did Hugo. Almost halfway in towards this Grand Prix, as it's Lillian who still leads after building up such a gap. As we know, later in the Grand Prix, he will go on the midi-compound tyres. The guys behind will get a huge undercut, but how good will Lillian's tyres be towards the end? How good has his tyre management been at this stage of the Grand Prix? He's actually done a really good job, you know, considering all things that VNT has been right behind his tail on the midi-compound tyres. I'm surprised that VNT didn't use their tyre advantage early on the Grand Prix to overtake him, as far as Lars van der Linden says, the fast up the Grand Prix down there in P7 as he follows his teammates as we head towards turn 1. These guys who just pitted Hamza though get a bit detached there because he's on older tyres in comparison towards these guys who did pit quite early as well in the Grand Prix. Oh, here comes Lars Sapala then, side by side with the ABS drivers. Here we go then. This is a battle for position with older people, drivers and older tyres. This could help Lillian. The more these guys block and defend, the better for Lillian then as we head down towards the breakers. A bit of a tap there as we go sideways into towards 6 and 7. But around the outside he goes then. Sapala dispatches one driver. The next one is Varga and Justin. It's critical, absolutely critical to get past these two very quickly. Not to get hold up and lose time towards Lillian. As we head down towards turn 9, they go, look at this, lovely defending. They place their cars in the middle of the road, but one of them's going to go out wide. Oh, this is like a Sergio Perez type shit. Oh, he barges his way out of the way. As we head down towards 11, we go, as he's going to force him off the road. As Sapalo goes up into Peter. A bit of team game there between all these guys. Tried to be the Minister of Defence, but unfortunately for those guys, it didn't work too long. So, Sapalo then up into P2. He does have a penalty. He does, yeah. 3-second tyre penalty. So I wonder where that came from. Didn't really notice that, but unfortunately he does have a penalty, so that's going to be detrimental towards his race at the end of the Grand Prix. Exactly, Jack. Sapala was not dealing with them, messing about. He wanted to get past them immediately. You knew what was going to happen between 3 of them. 3 versus 1, and Sapala still got past them. In fact, I would have done the same thing, to be fair. Here we go then, you can see the 2 in the background struggling for traction on their older hardcore powered tyres as Hugo then right behind his teammates. So what's the strategy now then, as Harry Nunn sets the fast up of the Grand Prix with 25.5. Hello Lawrence, how you doing mate? Hello Tim. As you can see that Justin goes a bit deep in the braking zone, so as we get Hugo then with the DRS on the back of his teammates when he go for the overtake and stay behind. As Hamza has left the session, it's been a dismal day for IRT so far in this race. Hamza is, yeah, he hasn't retired, he has left the session, so unfortunately has issues with his internet connection. You know what I'm thinking? When Ivan, Lars and Evan I catches up towards Varga, Justin and Hugo, if they do catch up, that's going to be a mighty battle between the 3 versus 2. I wonder if Varga, Justin and Hugo might sacrifice their strategy for the benefit of Lillian and try and hold these guys up. They might as well do it. They might as well. I don't think these guys are going to pit just yet. They're waiting, I think, for the guys behind it. But Justin pits this lap to get rid of the hardcore power tyres. So there could be 12 laps left to go. What's the gap to leader between these guys? I wonder. Evan I. So I'm trying to think of strategy right now. So Lars van der Linden 40.7. I think it's doable to catch when Lillian pits on the midi-compound tyres. I think it's doable to catch Nico, Evan I, and Lars and Ivan. But Sapala, however, on the other hand, go for that very early undercut with such good pace and a 3-second time penalty. I think Lillian has this in the bag with his new midi-compound tyres. But it depends though how big the drop-off is on the mediums. It seems. Do you know what? If Lillian wins this Grand Prix, you've got to give him full credit if you like him or not. I don't know much about him. But you've got to give him full credit for his race and efforts tonight. Done an amazing job. Also kept first and second. We got overtaken by 2 of them on the first few laps, but got back in the lead immediately and controlled the race ever since then. Played the DRS games right, making sure he stayed ahead of the other. But I wonder when he pits, he's actually keeping a really nice gap towards Mr. Sapala as well. The gap's not really gone down dramatically. He's taking a few tenths here and there, but not really gaining a whole lot of time. Lillian pits this lap. He is. The race leader is in the pit lane. And this is where this actually is going to spice up. He's going to go on the mini compound tie. He's going to go chase after Sapala, Varga, Hugo, Ivan, Lars, Nico, and Evanai. Oh, Hugo gets a 3-second penalty, but I wonder as well. I keep forgetting that it's a team sport event. So, well, I'm also thinking that when Lillian catches towards Evanai, Nico, and Lars, I think that they're going to block him as well. Try and block him every single chance they get. So he rejoins in P6, nice clean air. He rejoins ahead of Hamza, who has left the session. A majority of drivers as well in the pit lane. Sapala is in the pit lane again. Wow. So I wonder where he dropped to. He's in the pit lane to go on a bunch of hard compound tyres. So he believes those hards can't go towards the end. So medium hard strategy as Lars van der Linden overtakes the van. I'm quite surprised about that strategy, you know, to be fair, to be honest with you, because I thought he'd stay out there and let Ivan, Nico, Evanai hold up Lillian, keep Lillian at bay for as long as they can, and do it that way. But it seems that Sapala's got other things. Interesting strategy there from VNT, but I hope they know what they're doing. Obviously, they have a lot more information than me. They're more clever than me, of course, so they're more clever than me. 11 laps left to go. So Lillian then will hunt down Kip, Evanai, Nico, Ivan, and Lars van der Linden. We know that Ivan won't win the Grand Prix with his penalty. I think it's a 10-second penalty he's got. So will Nico and Evanai do Lars van der Linden the favour and try and hold up Lillian as much as they can, and Sapala as well up into P7. Quite far apart these two are, so I don't think Sapala will be putting any pressure from Lillian. But it's very important now for Lillian on his mini compound tyres. With 10 laps left to go, he's on the hunt and he targets up the road. Lars van der Linden, Ivan, Nico, and Evanai all in VNT as Harry Nuns gets a 3-second time penalty in the race. Kip is the outlier with P5. He's in IRT for the PC team. I think he's the only IRT driver left in this Grand Prix, if I'm not mistaken. Where's Neo? Neo's out, Nick's out. I think Spezzy left the session. And who else is in IRT? Hamza, sorry about Hamza. But here comes Evanai on Nico. Puts himself back into P3. I think these two know what they're doing. If they see Lillian on the mini compound tyres, these two are going to try and hold up Lillian as much as they can. Try and delay the inevitable or stop the inevitable. It depends which is which, though. How quickly can Lillian get past those two? You've got to do it rapidly, though. If he can't, then unfortunately for him, that's his race ruined. And that's all about teamwork as well. That's why having so many cars up there at the top of the pecking order is so vital, so crucial for your race. Even though they're not close together, they can still play a huge part and factor in towards the Grand Prix. Do you know what? Kip is still there in P5, hanging on to the back of these two as well. And that's quite smart, you know, because Evanai Nico could use Kip to try and get the DRS off him, try and keep Lillian behind. But Lillian's caught up by a rate or not, and there he is then, in sight, ready to attack. It's all about how quickly can he get past these three. Kip won't really care, but of course Nico and Ivan are fighting for the race, but in terms of Lars van der Linden as well. Lars van der Linden has got Ivan as the second driver there in P2 as well, so just in case that Lillian does get past Nico and Ivan, there's Ivan as well for the rear gunner of this Grand Prix. The rear gunners, P3 and P4, Kip's just there in the picture. But in fact, Nico has lost the DRS. Actually, Lars has been overtaken by his teammate Ivan as well. I wonder if they should trade the DRS on each straight as well, try and build that gap over. But here we go then. Lillian has caught up. He's got 10 laps to do something about it. How long is he going to get stuck behind these three? Maybe to splash Kip quickly. Look at that, the battery's being used. Here we go then. There's one driver gone down and four more left to go. He's up into P5 now. This is where it gets critical. This is where it gets serious because, you know, these two are going to try absolutely everything to keep these guys behind as well. But look at this. Lillian used the battery. Will he go for a move? Down into towards turn 12 around the outside, of course. Nico's going to go late at the brakes. But look at the switch back. Around the outside. In towards 30 to 40 we go. What a lovely move. But it's not done yet, just yet. As Lillian is up into P4. Fantastic move. And next driver is Evanai. Not down the inside. Surely not. But Lillian there with that fantastic move all the way around the outside. Knew Nico was going to outbrake himself, therefore did the switchback around the outside in towards 30 to 14. Had better grip, although he did exceed track limits, maybe on the exit of turn 14 there, but hopefully he doesn't pick up a penalty. Next target is Evanai. Then after that, it is Lars van der Linden and Ivan. the Spaniard and the Dutchman in first and second place. Lillian, however, how quickly can he get past Evernight? Surely easily now, because there's no one to protect himself against the charging Lillian. Ivan and Lars swap places, but here we go then. Look at this, here comes Nico back on Lillian as we head down towards the breakers. So we go, level pegging, but surely Lillian has the tyre advantage. We have the grip around the outside, he does. Bit of contact for good measure, but Lillian around the outside in towards turn 7 gets ahead of both of them as well. And just 3.5 seconds up the road is the top 2. But look at this, here comes Evernight back down the inside in towards turn 9, but nothing he can do there. Doesn't have the edge over the ABS driver and has to stay behind for the time being. You know what, being a solo commentator, it is a bit difficult because you forget to drink because you've got to talk so much. So just be right back for a few seconds while I take a drink. This is also surprised as well. What surprises me is that Ivan is outside the DRS range of Lars van der Linden. So is Lars van der Linden going for broke here and just trying to do his absolute best? But I think the inevitable is going to happen. It's a question of when, not if. I don't think Lillian's tyres will drop off towards the end either. He's in good shape from here on in. He is destined to win the Grand Prix. The sole ABS driver versus the VNT drivers. I'm very surprised with the pace of Lillian so far. Great strategy call for go for the hards and mediums. Although he's bringing along Evernight and Nico, hasn't really dropped him out of DRS range. I thought he would. But they're still there in the DRS range, working it. The gap is 2.5 seconds between Lillian and Ivan as well, as Ivan has been brought back in the DRS range of his own teammates, which could be very important for the battle too. So far, advantage, I think VNT will score the most points, but obviously a race win is sweet for any team. I think if Lillian does win this Grand Prix, be absolutely delighted with all the hard work he's had to cope against with about 5 drivers in the same esports team. Are you surprised about VNT's supporter strategy as well? Like, who told him to go to pit lane, or was his tyres just done? But surely as well, like his strategy, if he had been up there as well, possibly helping his teammates. I wonder why Sapala pitted. Was there a reason? He did the 2-stop rule, didn't he? The 2 different tyre rules. Yeah, he did. So I'm not quite sure why he pitted to go on another set of the hardcore pod tyres. But Van, once again, struggling to get himself in the DRS range of Lars van der Linden as we head down towards turn 5. The gap is 1.8 seconds between Lillian and Ivan. The chase is surely on, and they're just up the road there. Sapala will be P1 on track. Think about this tyre strategy. What do you mean? As we head down towards turn 6 and turn 7, Sapala will be P1. Yeah. With the track advantage he had as well, he would be P1. So I'm not quite sure why he pitted twice. That's what I'm saying. If Sapala had to pit it, will Lars, Ivan, Evernight and Nico come close together, try and defend from Lillian if that strategy paid out? Hopefully we get some information from VNT soon about what happened in the ground. I feel sorry for these guys as well, because what I like to do is mention every single driver. Harry Nunn's sets the past of the Grand Prix. But as people know me, I like to mention every single driver that takes part in the race. India gets a 3 at second ability. Justice chasing Varga. Do you know what? Varga had some great pace earlier in the Grand Prix, but seems to be struggling on the second stint on the mini compound tyres. So his pace drops away just a bit. The gap 6.8 between himself and Sapala. He did do a 2-stop, I think. Or was that 1-stop? Let me check just in case. Yeah, 1-stop strategy for him. The gap is 1.3 now between himself and Ivan. So surely but slowly, slowly but surely, gaining on him. He's almost within DRS range of Ivan. There is 5 laps left to go. It's going to be a difficult, tall order for Ivan and Lars to defend against Lillian. How quickly is the question, does the mini compound tyres go? Because sometimes the pendulum can swing towards the other way. The crossover point between the hards and the mediums, like we saw in the last game as well. I think Lillian's tyres are still in good shape. Obviously, the peak performance is gone, but there's still life left in those mini compound tyres. Just try to get himself within the DRS range, and then it should be fireworks here from in. It's either going to be Lars van der Linden or Lillian who wins the Grand Prix. But Evan and Nico are still there, you know, in P4, P5. Could there be a threat towards the Grand Prix? Could their tyres be better towards Lillian's? Who knows? Maybe Lillian might not have his way after all. Who knows? But we're about to find out in a few laps' time. Depends what the order is. Look at that, 4 versus 1. Evan, Nico, Evan, and Lars van der Linden versus Lillian. But so far, Lillian has done a fantastic job to sustain the pressure from all the guys around him. I think the IRT boys are no longer in the chat. Hamza is a ghost of quarantine, yeah. So all the IRT boys are gone. What a shame for them. Kip is still there. Apologies, Kip. He's still there on the PC side, up into P6, but he's under pressure from Sapala. But Sapala is on a new setter of hardcore power tyres, so fresher, better tyre grip, and should get him with the tyre difference. But here we go then. We can see that Lillian is in DRS range finally of Ivan and Lars van der Linden. How easy will it be for him, or how difficult will it be to overtake the top two? He found it with ease with Nico and Evan, but it won't be easy with Ivan and Lars van der Linden. What tricks have VNT got the sleeves to try and win the Grand Prix? I wonder, as vMV pick up a 3-second penalty. As Evan struggles to get himself a DRS range of Lillian. That could be a crucial point as well, because he could play DRS towards Lillian and therefore be free. Has he got DRS? No, yes he has. He just opened it at the very last second. And there's a spinner down there too. Who is that? There's a caution down in the final corner. That is vMV Ilyas, who picked himself up a 3-second penalty. Here we go, down in towards the technical parts of the racetrack. The dirty air will be affecting these guys as well, massively affecting the aerodynamics of the cars. You just don't know how the car is going to react, especially Lillian as well. The exit turn 14, the back in the car wanted to step out there. As we head towards the final corner we go. There is 3 laps left to go in this race, and Lillian has finally caught up. But let's see what the order is towards in the Grand Prix. How quickly can Lillian dispatch Ivan to get towards Lars van der Linden? How good is his tyre life still? It should be okay, but it may be on the fringes of the peak performance. Slightly going there for Lillian. We know what happens when the midi-compound tyres lose their grip. It's so difficult as well, because especially like a track like this where the grip is so low. You got the technical part in the last sector as well, and the first sector, high-speed corners. The tyres take a punish in. The tyres start overheating, sliding around as well underneath you. It's so hard to bring them back down under optimum temperature. As we head down towards turn 6 and turn 7 then, when is Lillian going to plan his attack? Will he do it now, or is it later? Oh, look at this then. Ivan really backing him up into the path of Evan and Nico. Back in 2016 between Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton, when Hamilton backed up Rosberg into the clutches of Sebastian Vettel and Max Verstappen. As we head down in towards turn 9, so these guys have been brought up closer and closer as well. I can definitely see a few games being played here. Surely you think that VNT have a big chance of winning, because it's 4 versus 1. But Lillian's on the best strategy of all of them in P3 with the better mini compound tyres towards the end. But of course, these guys got a few cards up the sleeves. And look at this, Lars van der Linden may pull away from Ivan as well when he has the chance, while Ivan may back up Lillian into the path of Evan and Nico. This could be a difficult phase for Lillian then, with all the cars around him. Look at that, Sapala's not too far away from this battle. The gap's 2.7 between Sapala and Nico. Here we go then, the games will start playing right now as Ivan is on the fringes of DRS there between himself and Lars van der Linden. Let's see what type of strategy, let's see what type of games they play against Lillian as we head down in towards turn 5. People can say whatever they want, but this is a team. Here we go then with the DRS wide open. I'm just enjoying the battles really. I'm not on anybody's side. As we head down towards 6 and 7 we go. Look at the speed, 340 kilometers an hour. As you can see, Ivan. Oh, the contact between Ivan and Lars, and Lillian goes through. Wow. So actually, VNT is stepping on their own toes, and Lillian's got through with ease. And now Ivan's under pressure from Evan right behind as well. Through goes Evan up into P3. So Ivan forced into defence. Hit the back of Lars, half spun the car, and Lillian says, Messi Buku, I'll just walk straight through and get past you. So now, surely you think that Lillian has the best chance to win this Grand Prix. Do you think Lars van der Linden could do anything about the attack against Lillian? Lars versus Lillian. Let's see which one of these two then will end up in front. After this lap, it's the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix, lap 28 out of 29. But still, could there be pressure for Evan behind? Because Evan not too far behind, putting pressure there on the ABS driver in front of us. Or is it ABS or is it ABS? Let me know in the comment section. I'll just say ABS for now, or ABS, whatever. But as we head through turn I think it's turn 3 and turn 4 we go. It's the high-speed section. Somebody has gone off in turn 9. That's Tathan, who is off the track in towards turn 9. For 1 second, I thought I saw a car, but look at Lillian. Lillian is 1.2 seconds out of DRS range. He's 4 out of DRS range, but not yet. He's still got DRS on the back of Lars. For 1 second, I thought Lars just pulled away there. But still, Lillian now under massive pressure because he's got to use a lot of battery as well. Try and catch up towards Lars as we head down towards 6 and 7. These guys pushing very hard as well to keep ahead of each other. Surely you think Telefon mini compound tyres, the tyres are starting to fall away, because in the first stint we saw the guys who on the mini compound tyres started to fall away. They're about 8 or 9 lap old mini compound tyres as well towards the first stint. So here we are, the second stint. Maybe the crossover point might happen between the hards and the mediums. Sapala as well in P6 has caught up, but a bit too late. There he is in P6, just caught up towards the back of his team. You could say effectively strategies worked, but it could be a bit of a struggle to get past, I think, Lillian. Here we go then, last lap attack. And let's see what happens between these two. There's a car gets out of the way on the right hand side here, but here we go then, the rivalry spices up between ABS and VNT. Which one of these two will come out on top? It's going to get spicy. Don't go anywhere, because there's still a lot of action left in the Grand Prix on the final lap of this race. 5.2 kilometers, 3.2 miles left to go between Lillian and Lars van der Linden. And let's see which one of these two will come out on top. Lillian on his old mini compound tyres, hunting down Lars van der Linden on his hard compound tyres. We head down in towards turn 5, double lock up. This is one of the two DRS streets where he can overtake, but will Lillian set himself up? Look at this, weaving like Verstappen and Hamilton did back in 2021. But here comes Lillian with the DRS wide open. Lars goes defensive on the inside. Lillian then will have to go all the way around the outside, but he doesn't do so. Will Lars outbrake himself? No, he makes the corner, but Lillian surely gets a better exit with the switch. A better line through there. Out of turn 6 and turn 7 through turn 8 we go. DRS enabled once again. The last possible overtaking place is at turn 9. Lars is derating. Here comes Lillian then as he goes all the way around the outside in towards turn 9. He's done it! He's in the lead of the Grand Prix on the final lap. Fantastic move from Lillian. After all the threats from VNT right behind, he sustained it really well. The pressure soaked it as well, kept his nerves intact, and he has done a mega job on the final lap as well. He's taken the lead on the final lap, despite almost out a second of DRS range on the plus one lap. But here he is then, he's coming through turn number 15 and 16. ABS or ABS looking to see his driver coming towards the final corner. It's going to be ABS on top as Lillian wins the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. What a fantastic drive from him. And no matter if you're a fan of him or not, no one can take that away from him. He's driven a clinical race. Absolutely sensational. One of the best drives I've seen defending from guys behind in the same team. VNT second, third and fourth and fifth as the van fall backwards into P7. Justin goes up into P8. There's a crash towards the end, but I don't think nobody cared about that. But what a fantastic race. I thoroughly enjoyed that as well. And what a social race to commentate as well. Spectacular race there from Lillian. That's what makes the driver as well. Even though he doesn't have his teammates around him to help him, he still did a mega job to make those moves. That was fantastic. Let's do it again tomorrow. I'm not quite sure what teams are participating tomorrow for tomorrow's race for social event, because we're going once again. Commentator for 3 days in a row. PSGL the first day on Monday, and the social race today, and the social race tomorrow. So quite a busy person I am commentating, but I enjoy it nonetheless. What an amazing night it's been for esports racing. Kept it nice and clean now. There was a few sketchy moments, but of course, that's what you see in esports racing. Of course, you're going to try every single trick in the book to try and get the best possible result as you can for the team and yourself. But Lillian there did everything he could. Lars van der Linden, very respectful as well, didn't dive up on the inside and desperately try and get back the lead. Only one IRT driver finished, and that was Kit, because I think his teammates who left the session early doors as well, that was Hamza and Neo and Nick. We didn't really talk about much about the vMV boys, apologies, but there they are. Some ABS people in the top 10 as well. We've got Justin, Varga, we've got Hugo as well inside the top 10. And Harry Nuns was the one that set the fast lap of the race as well. Well, that rounds off a fantastic night of racing here in Abu Dhabi under the twilight. and we'll see you all whenever, because I think I'm back tomorrow on this channel. I'm not quite sure which team is participating, but of course, Lars van der Linden's social races are always spectacular to watch, and I can't wait to see what happens tomorrow if I am commentating. I should be as well, so I'll see you all later. If I'm not commentating tomorrow with the same people or same teams or different teams, I hope you all enjoy the Canadian Grand Prix, and I'll see you all whenever. Take care. Goodbye for now.